Hi, I'm Dave with Dave and Jen Knight. Today you're going to learn how to memorize Nehemiah 4:14. And you will have, if not it fully memorized, because it is a lengthy verse, you're going to have a great step and you'll be able to play this back and get it down pat. Here it is, Nehemiah 4:14. After I looked things over, I stood up and said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes. Nehemiah 4:14. Great verse. This is round 14, week 1 of Fight Club here in central Indiana anyway. And it's in 3 continents, it's a growing group, and we memorize a verse each week. Do whatever you can to memorize this. I want to encourage you, write it out, whether it's on a whiteboard as I've done here, on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, on a little 3 by 5 card. Writing it out helps the brain get those words in, and we're going to break it down here just a little bit. Let's go through this step by step, or at least section by section. First of all, once again, memory devices. After I looked things over, I stood up. Let's stand up. If you're seated, I'd encourage you. If you're driving, please don't stand up. But stand up. I stood up and said to the NOP, the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes. A little definition there following families. And fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes. Nehemiah 4:14. Do whatever you can to help yourself remember this. I am not artistic, but I'm going to show you something I wrote out, and you can laugh, it's okay. Be like the guy who, at graduation last time, he said, hey, I want to tell you, thank you for making those videos of the memory verses. I saw you do that, and I thought, if that guy can memorize, I can. Okay, which was great. Praise the Lord. Glad it worked out that way. And I do hope that you look and say, you know, if he can do it, surely I can. After I looked things over, I stood up and I said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes. Nehemiah 4:14. I'll show you this. Again, I'm not artistic, but I'll show you this. I got a picture of it. Just something I did to try and help myself remember that, okay, after I looked things over, I stood up, you know, and I said to the NOP, nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes. Nehemiah 4:14. I suggest you read the context of that and catch the fact that Nehemiah is in the midst of rebuilding Jerusalem, and go ahead and read around that. I know you're reading other verses, other chapters, but just read some context for Nehemiah 4:14 as well. I have a question for you. For whom are you fighting? Is it for your sons and your daughters? Do you recognize that there is cultural chaos? Are you fighting for your sons and your daughters? Maybe for your wife? Maybe it's literally for your home. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome. Well, if you're finding this to be helpful, I want to encourage you, please click like. You can even subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can get an update. We're going to do a new verse every week, and so we'll put it in a playlist for Fight Club 4:14, Nehemiah 4:14, and it'll have, each week we'll add to that playlist whatever our memory verse is for that week. Nehemiah 4:14. After I looked things over, I stood up and I said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes. Nehemiah 4:14. God bless you. And until we meet again, I'm Dave of Dave and Jen Unite.